Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Homology Podcast, a weekly conversation with your HVAC team here at Vertex Mechanical. We're glad you've taken a few moments as part of your day to laugh with us, maybe learn something new, and be inspired. This is the second episode of our reset. Of course, I'm Josh. To the far left, your right is Mr.
Vince Youndt.
That was your cue. You got to say it. And
Didn't know we had a cue.
Sorry. That's good. It's still, again, we're getting used to this. This is still
this
kind
is
of young
still
effort.
Yes,
and then our special guest, which we said was joining us last week, is here now, and that is Mr. Nathan Foster. He was one of
Thanks.
Yeah, we're glad that you're here.
Yeah.
And joining us as our sales team leader.
Yep.
And Vince has like 67 years of experience, he said last week.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Right, cumulative.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Going up a few.
But
I look young for my age.
You do.
I'm 90.
Yeah. 90?
But Nathan, you actually have quite a bit of experience too. You're doing sales and leading that team here at Vertex right now. But before that,
Certainly.
You actually grew in your knowledge of HVAC by being a technician. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I was been in the industry for about 10 years now. Moved around quite a bit. So started out service installation mostly.
Yeah.
Got pretty good at that and looking for the new adventure and challenge. So moved into service manager, and that's kind of where I started my journey at Vertex. Been service manager for the last 4 years now, and then just recently moved over into basically director of installation and sales here at Vertex. So
some of our listeners, watchers, they may actually have known you from
Yeah.
that role. You might be like, actually, I haven't heard from Nathan in a while. It's not because he left the company. It's
No.
because he relocated within the company.
Yep.
And is now doing an amazing job on install of new systems and replacements, etc. So but you've had a journey. So you're full of knowledge as well. So today we're going to pick both of your brains about something that was brand new to me only recently, and it's the idea of an air scrubber. And the reason that this is also kind of fun is because just a few days ago on Facebook, we selected a winner for our air scrubber giveaway. And so if you didn't get to watch that, we did a Facebook Live thing. Make sure you tune back, get on our Facebook page and watch that, where we announced the winner of our $1,200 air scrubber giveaway. But this air scrubber thing was like, wait, what is this? I don't know what this technology is, because it was like space technology. It's like certified space technology. Sounds really cool. I mean, I want space technology in my house because it sounds like it would fit a smart home.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. But it's different than a filter.
Yeah.
And the only paradigm I had was like filters are things that, like a water filter, you can see the water going through and it traps stuff. But that's not what we're talking about, is it?
No, it isn't. And just a little backstory. So the air scrubber was actually introduced to me probably about 10 years ago now. And the first time that it was introduced to me, I about threw the salesman out of the office just because I'm like, listen, I'm not into the hokey pokey stuff.
Did it feel that way
It
initially?
really certainly, it just, everything about it was like, you just make all these claims and all this.
Like from the Jetsons, kind
Yeah.
of. Like.
It felt like,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
And so it just seemed like it's not practical, it's not really possible. Anyway, this guy wouldn't let me alone, and so we finally made a handshake agreement that I'm going to give him a little more time. He's going to explain it to me, and then if I decide I'm not doing this is the last time I'm going to see you.
Okay.
Wow.
Anyway, so I left him to his presentation. He showed me these
that's
things.
not a bad thing, because you're wanting to care for your customers.
Right.
You're not wanting to sell.
I don't want to sell, and that's what it felt like in the initial. In
Snake
fact,
oil.
I'll even
Yeah,
say,
we're selling
I
snake
mean,
oil. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure.
and Nate would agree with me. When we start talking about this thing in front of a customer,
Yeah.
it does sound a little the way it sounds because it does so many great things, and it's like, how's this possible? Like,
Yeah.
this can't be.
Right.
But the reality is, I mean, I made him give me one to put in my own house. I didn't tell my wife just because of the fact that I wanted to see if she recognized anything without even knowing it was there.
Yeah.
And it took about a week.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she started asking questions. There was a problem with the vacuum because it was cleaning up better, which meant I had to clean out my bagless a lot more often. Not so
Interesting.
excited about that, but
Okay.
it was doing its job better. We have a dog. You can smell the dog anymore. And
Yeah.
so there's a few things about it that just started to become recognizable within a week,
Wow.
and she didn't know. So it started to, all of a sudden my antenna are up, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is something.
Right.
And at the end of the day, we sell it because of the fact that I 100% believe in it. I've seen the results.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we have the whole COVID thing going on, and it becomes even more of a, you know, you want to help people out. I hate making claims on the medical side because of the fact that it's so hard to prove, and I don't like to really talk about anything I can't prove.
Sure.
But the thing is, I've seen certain results that seem to be, you know, did it just happen? Is it a coincidence, or is it truly because? And it seems to have more leaning towards it's truly because. So,
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, so
Nate,
that's
why don't we have Nate talk a little
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
specific things, because you get to see it installed in many homes.
Yep.
Talk about the value of it. Talk about a little bit about what it does, how
Sure.
it does it, that kind of thing. Because again, it does feel like this outer space technology.
Yeah, right.
And yet it's a small unit and it cares for the entire home.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not very big. Like just kind of some personal experiences about it, and because I've seen the same kind of effects that you did. So had it in my parents' house, and then also have it in my grandparents' home too. And a lot of it was just allergies and asthma, right? So they suffered a lot from allergies and asthma, and again, put it in just kind of like Vince said, without even telling anybody about it, even knowing that it's in, and all of a sudden now my mom's breathing better, and it's starting to make the house feel a lot better too.
Yeah.
So and even I can tell a difference. Like I have pretty bad seasonal allergies, and I can tell like when I come into Vertex from being outside for a while,
Sure.
I can notice a difference between being in the building, between being outside the building. So, but how it works, I mean, it's the technology behind it. Even though it is this space age technology, it kind of operates pretty simple. So it's basically just a UV bulb. So a standard UV bulb
Right.
that goes through the middle of a what they call a cell, and when that UV bulb shines across the metal of that cell, it just creates small amounts of hydrogen peroxide and other negatively charged particles.
Yeah.
So everybody knows hydrogen peroxide and kind of how that works, kind of the cleaning agent that is.
Right.
And the negatively charged particles, what they're doing is they're creating something called active technology. So your filter is basically a passive technology. So in order
That's
for
what's just trapping the stuff.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
It's not doing anything.
Nope.
That's
In order
correct.
for your filter to do anything, the air inside your house has to hit that filter. It has
Sure.
to pass through that filter. That's
Makes sense.
where passive technology comes from. With active technology, what it's doing is it's basically releasing these negatively charged particles, these microscopic negatively charged particles that you can't even see, but it's taking all those dust, dirt, dander, anything that's floating in the air in our airstream, it's clumping them together, and it's making them fall down to the floor. So it's doing
hence the reason, by the way, why
Yeah.
I'm all of a sudden cleaning my
Yep.
baglets out a lot more. That's
Exactly,
Right. 'Cause
yep.
I get this big clumpy stuff that's
Sure.
all of a sudden getting hung up in my
So
filters.
Yep.
it makes me think of, like on a sunny day, sunlight
Yep.
shining through the windows,
You got
and
it.
you see like my whole house is full of
Yep.
mystical dust and dander.
Yep.
And what I think you're saying is that kind of stuff, because of the active technology and the negative particles, actually get trapped, stuck, and falls.
Exactly.
Am I right about that?
Correct.
Yep,
Okay.
you're absolutely right. So with that, like I said, like Vince said, you're either going to be sweeping that stuff up,
Sure.
Or now it's easier for it to actually get pulled back through the return ductwork and into your filter,
filter,
and start getting trapped
Makes sense.
inside your filter. So that's kind of like how it takes care of the dust and dirt and dander part of it. The other part is the cleaning agent part, which is, like I said, killing 99.9% of all surface contaminants.
Yeah.
And that's anything from all of that good stuff. So.
Okay, so that was one of the coolest things because it says air scrubber, but not to be fooled, it's scrubbing a lot more than that.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So when it says it's 99.9% effective at deactivating these different, whether
Sure.
it's
Yep.
bacteria and viral things, what that means is it's at a molecular level, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Like it actually is impacting the air quality of the entire space, so that on surfaces, even like your end tables, your bookcases, your countertops, whatever, the hydrogen peroxides are also now being applied to that space.
Correct.
Is that
Right.
correct?
Yep.
That's right.
That was mind-boggling to me because I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my word, like it's actually disinfecting.
Yep.
As
Correct.
if I was wiping it off with hydrogen peroxide. It's
Right.
actually
Yeah.
disinfecting my whole space.
Right. Yeah. So, like for instance, if you were all of a sudden cutting chicken up in your kitchen, and maybe you didn't realize you got some splattered on the thing, you swept your countertop and you kind of cleaned it all off.
Yeah.
You missed some. Well, guess what? I mean, now that's something that will actually get dealt with over time. Now,
Yeah.
granted, we are not looking for people to not clean up after
Sure.
themselves when they're making chicken on the countertop.
Might need to have a disclaimer right now.
Yeah, right.
Still Yeah.
clean
But
up
the
your
thing is that it's when we start talking about this size, there's nothing that we can do on a filter scale. So
Sure.
whether it's a filter in your system or the filter in my sweeper, There's nothing we can do on that size that's going to be able to stop it. And so the air scrubber, what's different about that active technology, it seeks out. It goes out and finds it, and it can actually deal with those things on their level, which is what we need to do.
Yeah, and that's basically because like we would never be able to get enough filtering material to still allow good system operation and good breathability through the system without restricting it to a point where it can't.
So tell me real quickly as we kind of wrap up this episode, what are the best applications for an air scrubber? Where could we put them? Where could they be used?
Yeah, so nice thing about air scrubber is there's so many different applications, right? So if you have ductwork in your house, obviously we're probably going to lean more towards the ducted version, so where we're actually making a small hole in your ductwork, installing it into the ductwork, and then
actually,
wiring
here,
it into
if
your
you
system.
Want to take a minute, here's actually a picture of you installing that very system in my ductwork in my house.
Nice.
And this is in the trunk line, which is kind of the main supply coming off of my system. And you can actually see the blue UV bulb that's in there doing the work, which is pretty cool. So there's the picture of it. So residential in your ductwork is a good place. A primary application.
For businesses, same kind of thing. If you have ductwork, we can utilize the same kind of application. They make different models for commercial applications up to 10, 15,000 square feet. And then for other applications, if you don't have ductwork, like if you have hot water baseboard, that kind of thing, they make portable applications where they just plug into a standard wall outlet. And then they even have protection for your car too, where they have a mobile version that plugs right into the 12-volt socket of your car.
The other thing that's nice about that mobile version is it's a small one. And you could actually, so if you had an office at work and you wanted to just plug this thing in, it does have the ability to be 12 volt or 120. So you can plug it into a wall out and just fill with your own office if you wanted to do that. So it's really effective for that. I mean, it's the right amount of square footage, and you can do it very, very well with just that small unit.
So because this technology is industry specific in the sense that a lot of times we are installing it within ductwork, it's the type of thing that you cannot buy on Amazon.
Correct.
Believe it or not.
So
what that means is if this sounds like something that's right for your home, and it is, if it sounds like something that's right for your office, and it is, then please give us a call or send us an email at contact@vertex-mechanical.com because we'd love for you to learn more about it. It's a really amazing technology, very cost effective, and does a lot more than even what we were able to talk about here in 10 minutes. But we hope that gave you a little bit of an insight into this really amazing technology, and that it might be something that you can learn more about with us in the future. Any last words, Nathan?
Don't take any wooden nickels.
And don't buy any snake oil.
There you go.
Got it. Well, thanks again for joining us this week on the Homology podcast. Again, Vince, Nate, and Josh, and we're so glad that you're with us. Hopefully you can join us again next week. Vince and I will be back. It's the first round of Stump the Youndt next week.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And then a couple weeks later, Don Lumal, our operations manager, he'll be with us too. So have a great rest of your week. We'll see you around.
See you later.
Hey, thanks again for joining us today. As always, we hope you enjoyed your time with us and that you'll return again next week. And if you need to get a hold of us, just visit vertex-mechanical.com to call or email.